Actor Woody Harrelson has not held back on Donald Trump.
He wanted Jesse Ventura, trying to convince him to be his vice presidential running mate to run for the Democratic, for presidency. I sat there and I listened to this guy go on and on about everything he owned and how much money he had. But either way, he goes on, and it was so demoralizing listening to this guy that I just had to walk outside and take a deep breath for a while.
Because you're getting dirty. You're getting dirty.
I felt dirty.
Yeah,
I felt like I wanted, if there was a place I could take a shower. Yeah. He says, I'm worth about $4 billion, but I know that when I die, my children are going to fight over it. And I thought, well, okay, he said something, He's like a boxer who does all the name calling and all the grandstanding and the self-promoting, and yet he can't box.
Even sharing anecdotes from a dinner the two shared. Note who Harrelson sat next to in this next piece of video.
He's a fraud. He lies. He cheats people. Everything that comes out of his mouth virtually is a lie. And he's a con man. And if you look at what he's done with his career and how he's tricked people into things, it's abhorrent. The idea that that man could be president of the United States is abhorrent. I can't not hate somebody who bilks innocent people out of money, life savings. And we've seen it. With that Trump University, he took people's money, $35,000, wiped these people out, and is being sued for it. He steals money from charities and curries political favor. I'm apoplectic, to be honest with you, and I don't understand how the American press is not apoplectic. This is dangerous, what this guy is doing. He's a liar. He's a misogynist. He's a racist. He's a homophobic. You name it. You name it. And the fact that he is running for president of the United States in America is, you can't say the words. It's beyond comprehension, beyond belief.
The late Rob Reiner.
I used to dream about being a Secret Service agent, but then that passed when I realized the character that I liked on television was actually an actor playing a Secret Service agent. And so I did. I wanted to be an actor from fairly young, not as young as Bree. I was like, actually, I was in college by the time I really thought that's what I wanted to do with my life.
Okay.
But luckily, I didn't become a Secret Service agent. I'd be having to protect Donald Trump right now, and that just wouldn't sit well.
No, you would have a very big job right now to do.
Yeah, I'd be wanting to slip him some cyanide instead of jumping in front of a bullet. I shouldn't say these things.
You should not be saying these
Okay,
things.
well, I guess, well, there, it's out there.
If there's one thing about Woody, he's honest. To be clear, the clip of Harrelson going over the dinner story was so bad that at the time he claimed he had to go step outside and smoke a J. Here it was in further detail. Speaking with Esquire, Harrelson said, so we all met at Trump Tower, sat down, Melania was there, only she wasn't his wife yet. And it was, let me tell you, a brutal dinner, 2.5 hours. Fun part was watching Jesse's movies, he would continue. Now, at a fair table with 4 people, each person is entitled to 25% of the conversation, right? I'd say Melania got about 0.1%, maybe. I got about 1%. And the governor, Jesse, he got about 3%. Trump took the rest. It got so bad, I had to go outside and burn one before returning to the monologue monopoly. Woody would go on to say, listen, I came up through Hollywood, so I've seen narcissists. This guy was beyond. It blew my mind. He did say one thing that was interesting, though. He said, I'm worth $4 billion, or maybe he said $5 billion, one of those numbers, I forget. Anyway, he said, I'm worth however many $billion, but when I die, no matter how much it is, I know my kids are going to fight over it. That was the one true statement he made that night, and I thought, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. A weird part of all of this? He told Jimmy Kimmel not long ago that he and former Vice President Mike Pence were tight in college. Quote, I knew him, yeah, we were both very religious. It was a Presbyterian college at the time, and I was there on a Presbyterian scholarship, and he was involved with the church activities. He'd say, I was actually considering being a minister, and then I just kind of went a different way. In that interview, he'd also stated, I actually quite liked him. I thought he was a pretty good guy. He's, very religious, very committed. Seeing as how I'm not quite in that ballpark now, I don't know how how we'd get along. Because I think he's still quite religious and just a whole different brand of religious. That kind of fervor that you really don't want. When Harrelson played Lyndon B. Johnson in a movie, he gave this quote while doing the media rounds: "He's the polar opposite of Trump." Added Reiner, "It's not just the agenda either. He actually got things done. If you look at his legislative record, he's second only to FDR." To bring it back, what's crazy about Jesse Ventura is this.
For Donald Trump to sit back and pick a fight with us, his consultants gave him the wrong advice, I think, on that one. But and I don't know how this is going to come out. No one does. But I do know, let me fire this at you. I also don't have sympathy for us. Because the last election was a simple election. The people of America had the opportunity to choose the Constitution or the criminal. And what did they do? They chose the criminal. And now now what they're seeing surprises them. Oh, we're shocked and dismayed. This guy take a look at his record. Where are his casinos now? Bankrupt. Where is everything Donald Trump touched? It turns from gold to trash once he's involved with it. Look at his history. The guy is in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's never even been in the ring. How can he be a member of the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame?
There should not be one billionaire in America. None. And I'll tell you why. Because there is nobody that works hard enough to earn $1 billion. And my argument is this. The 2 jobs I did in my life that were physically the most demanding and mentally the most difficult that I ever did paid me the least amount of money. One was going through buds, and I challenge any billionaire to put up with 6 weeks of that at $62 every 2 weeks, And the second was right before I went in the Navy. I had a job with the Minnesota Highway Department. Couple bucks above minimum wage. I worked for the bridge crew, and you know what my job was? I worked a 4-day work week, 10 hours a day, so I could have Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the weekend. You're 18, of course you're going to do that. But I worked 40 hours in 4 days on the bridge crew, and guess what I did? Ran the 80-pound jackhammer. I challenge any billionaire to run the jackhammer for 40 hours 1 week and tell me he works harder than that. No, he doesn't. That's why I believe there should not be a billionaire in the world.
Ventura has gone off on Donald Trump, and he has gone off on him a lot. He has talked about how Trump ally like Hulk Hogan, first off, fought unionization because in a deposition when Vince McMahon was under oath, Jesse Ventura had his lawyer ask Vince how he heard about the fighters unionizing, which Ventura tried to organize. And under oath, Vince McMahon said Hulk Hogan. It was the late Hulk Hogan who told him all about that. So that was a tell. But, I understand that Ventura and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz are pretty tight, but the facts remain that the vice presidential nominations could not be more contrasting in their styles of who would be a better candidate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. And Ventura, who leans more libertarian, backed Walz 1,000%. 1,000%. And he will continue backing anybody that goes up against Donald Trump. Bare minimum, yes. But Ventura is also all about taxing billionaires. He doesn't think that billionaires should be a thing. And he has also gone after the levers of capitalism that so many billionaires like to pull in order to make our lives worse. So again, what just really gets me about all of this is that yes, the piece is focused on Woody Harrelson, but Donald Trump wanted Jesse Ventura to be his running mate at one point, and Ventura absolutely despises this man with every fiber of his being. Personally, I would love to have Jesse Ventura on, not just to talk about wrestling, but to also talk about the politics of the current moment in the United States. I think that'd be fantastic. What do you think? Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.